bed. Today's results are all laid bare. Leg before or caught behind. Jokes will fly and seldom kind. Stories spun with foolish pride. So open that beer and enjoy the ride.
Recording. Okay. It's like how, like, every time I start one of these things, it starts with, have we got a video? Yes. Oh, yes. Here we go. Oh, yeah, recording. Like, there's no fucking smooth intro in this shit, is there? No, there's not, is the answer. To you that I can't hear you. Stop yelling at me. I can't hear you. Okay? That's a bit. Oh, hold on. Come on. So I don't know about the last 2 minutes when I've gone, I can't hear you, whether you could actually hear me. No, I do. I know you can hear me. It just wouldn't be as clear. Tonight's an interesting night. Well, actually, let's start. I've got notes. Moldo, you'll hear this later when you listen to some stuff because I'll explain it all. It all will be clear. What I want to tell you, and you can all look at me right now. In eyes. I've got the iPad on the side and the thing's on an angle, and like I'm never going to be in the middle unless I get a camera or whatever. My point is, this is not AI. I'm going to watch a fair bit of YouTube, and this is how we've ended up on YouTube because I watch YouTube, and there's some interesting stuff on there about a lot of like stuff about those of you know me know like old bands and like music and sports and things, but so much of it like you get on and go, oh, this looks great, or like takeaway restaurants that no longer exist that were around in the 80s. And I go, oh, in the 80s? What was around in there? And I want to see Sizzler and, all that sort of stuff. They're so good at making AI voices sound like real people, but they're not because they come across something and they try to say it and they pronounce it stupid. And you go, well, what the hell's going on here? This is not AI. This is really me. Look, flesh and bone, real person. Look, let's be clear. There's only 30 fucking people that watch this thing, and you all know me in person, so you know it's not AI. But I saw a stat the other day, something about like 80%, 85% of content on YouTube these days is AI. I don't want to listen to AI. I want to see people talking. I like beard food. Goes and eats stuff. He's a real person. And some stuff comes up, but I don't know. It's the world. It's the world. But I just want to point out that I'm not AI. If you really want to see a real person, like, subscribe, and most importantly, subscribe is really good. This is good, but share. This should go to people beyond my sphere of people that I play with in my teams. It should go out to, because I'm not going to keep putting links up on my Facebook page and all the WhatsApp groups because it becomes annoying for people, and I don't want to be that guy. But if you think there's some value in this, please share it. I know a mate of mine's going to share was sharing with his team through Masters or Classics, I think it was going to share with his whole team. Then people can get involved. They can send me comments, send me messages and say, hey, I'd like to see this. I'd like to do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. Tonight's one is not a match report. This is going to be a long one tonight. I think I said last Friday night I'm going to start doing like a proper Snap Talks cricket, and I'll sit and I'll chat and do whatever. And if you want to listen to the whole thing, knock yourself out. That'd be awesome. I've got probably a 35-minute, 40-minute conversation coming out with Glyn Singleton, a good mate of mine, plays Saturdays with me, plays Masters and Classics with me. He's a Kiwi, so we have a bit of a chat around the state of New Zealand cricket and the over 55s recent New Zealand Australia series. It was a great chat. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a remote video thing happening. So you're going to have to look at his picture for a while you listen to the audio. If I figure out how to make that happen. Tonight is Friday night. It's 9:10. If you're watching this on Thursday night, it's only just come up. It's taken me. What did you find, Siri? Wow. I'm not sure what triggered Siri, but let's see what she says. Friday featuring Mufasa and Hype Man, Dopamine re-edit official video. I don't know what that fucking means. It's 9 p.m. on a Friday song. TikTok. I don't know what that means. Beck Martin, Friday night official lyric video, EDM dance festival. I need to actually have a look at how to turn off Siri on my watch, I feel. Because she just, it's not even when I have to say, the words HS, hey, that lady's name. I'm not saying it because my phone will start clicking off, the iPad, everything will start clicking. Not sure why my phone does it now and again. Anyway, the whole point of that whole 5-minute rambling was I'm not AI. This is a long one because I promised everyone last Friday that I would do a regular Friday proper episode. Again, you're probably better off just listening to it. Got no video for Glyn when he comes on, and I'm not worth looking at. So that's it. Let's get to a little funny anecdote. I was going to record this early before dinner, but we'd ordered dinner tonight, and it wasn't that far away. So I went, I don't think I'm going to record this. I'll wait till after dinner, and then I'll record it. For some reason, I charged into tell Sarah, ran in, going, "Hey, not gonna record this." And then I realised that was absolutely no relevance to her whatsoever, and I realised that I'm just old and I have to spew everything out of my mouth when I can. Yeah, that's cool. Right, so next thing's next. Those of you who want to win a car, go to Toyota's good for cricket raffle. They do it every year. There's you can win a car, you can win coaching sessions, you win a whole bunch of stuff. It's really, really good from Toyota. They take none of the money out of it. So for all the clubs, they sell tickets. All that money goes back to the clubs, and then Toyota just donates they donate the prizes, they donate the platform for people buying tickets. It's really, really good. From my perspective, I'm heading off to, and most of you guys know this, Castle Hill is sending a bunch of us over 50s to go and play against some UK sides later in the year. And all the money's going towards helping us travel. So go and buy some tickets. Just jump on, search Toyota Good for Cricket Raffle. There's links and things if you follow my Facebook pages or whatever. You can generally just jump on Toyota Good for Cricket Raffle, jump on, and then type Castle Hill RSL Cricket Club. And you should be able to find it, buy some tickets, win yourself a car, win yourself all sorts of prizes that are 100% donated by Toyota, and 100% money goes to the clubs. So there's Toyota makes no money out of it, aside from advertising and selling fucking a bunch of cars. But that's a good thing. We've been planning this trip for a couple of years, so we've sort of had 2 iterations, which has been helpful. That's that for that bit. Again, I'm looking at. See that? I've got notes. So Mordo, I've got notes. I'll play this one because it's going to be a longer one. We've talked about it. Getting to the end of our Australian summer season over here. I'm not sure if any of you guys are from outside of our realms, but our summer season is wrapping up. I think my Saturday comp's finished. I think Nick's Saturday comp finishes tomorrow. I've got a couple of weeks of Saturday comp for the losing teams, the teams that make finals, just have like a bit of a little one in sort of in house, but some mixed grade 1 day comps just to finish up. We call it John Hayne. Not sure who John Hayne is, but obviously he was somebody that they named the cup after. I think we've got maybe a couple of weeks of Masters and Classics to go, and we're kind of done for the year. But what we are gearing up for is the LMS season, Last Man Stands. which is big in Australia. I think it's big around the world. Eight aside, 2 hour games, 20, but 5 ball overs. So they're kind of like compressed. I'll be playing for Castle Hill on the usual Saturday Western Sydney competition, but I'm also going to be playing with Nick. Get to have a run with Nick. He's playing Sundays for the Southern Spirit and the Central Coast comp, so I play Saturdays and Sundays, which will be nice. Get to have a run with both my boys in a bit of hit and gear. As a bowler, it's fucking do what you can not to get the shit kicked out of you and leave your ego at the door, to be honest. But it's good. Keeps you going, keeps you training throughout the course of winter. On that, my skipper for my Saturdays and my over 40s, Mick Hungerford, is captaining the 2026 LMS Dream Team match between Eastern Western Sydney and North Sydney Oval on Monday night at 6:30 p.m. I think it'll be on the YouTube if you get on there and look up Last Man Stand Sydney. 6:30, you should be able to watch it. This is Mick's third year. Incredible player. Mick's a keeper and an opening batsman. We only play LMS in the winter. We play one LMS comp in Western Sydney. We do it through winter to keep occupied and keep fit and just sort of hone the skills. A lot of guys there who are playing. We play for one team. That's it. One game, one Sunday. There's guys that play LMS who might play 2 games on a Saturday, 2 games on a Sunday. They'll play winter, they'll play summer, they'll play all the comps. They might play different divisions. The grading, and I'm not sure if there's LMS across the board, the grading in Sydney LMS is not 100%. You'll see guys that play Div 1 who'll drop down and play Div 2. You'll see a side that we play in Div 1 that, I don't know, a few guys, and then you see them when they're suddenly in the Sydney Championships, and there's a whole bunch of different guys that haven't played throughout the year. So I don't know how the grading works. I don't really give a shit. For us, there's a means to an end. It's to keep fit and to play and to hone your skills against some good guys. But for someone like Mick to be classed as pretty much the second keeper or the number one keeper in the Western Sydney competition, and as a batsman as well, like an opening batsman as well, and to be offered to captain, given he only plays through one comp in winter, doesn't play for multiple teams, doesn't play for anything else, and to still be sort of ranked at that level is nothing short of phenomenal, and speaks volumes for the quality of a cricketer that he is, without even speaking about the quality of the bloke he is, which is good. That's what I'm saying. So that's it. I'm not sure. I mean, mixed play, as I said, at 6:30 Monday night, North Sydney Oval. Might try and get there and get some footage and do a report, or I may just watch it on TV. We'll see. We'll see how work pans out on Monday. Got to get our car and get it fixed as well. You know, everyone has normal life going around. So I'd love to get down and watch Mick play in person, but we'll see how we go. It's a bit of a trip for me from Central Coast. That's it for the whole up front stuff. So we've got about 13 minutes, getting towards 15 minutes. What I'm going to do now is I've just before this had a chat with Glyn. We spoke a bit about a little bit the T20 World Cup, the international one, like the proper levels, and that's going on. How good New Zealand going? A little bit about New Zealand punching above their weight, but also about how their development's going in terms of over 50s and like the Masters cricket. Not sure if I think I might have mentioned it last time. New South Wales has changed from New South Wales veterans. I think Cricket Australia has changed from veterans. In respect for our true veterans that represent that defend our country, they've sort of changed the cricket to Masters, which I think is a good thing for anybody sort of in the over 40 realms. So not the Masters, it's the actual proper World Cup for the young kids that are in their 20s and 30s. But New Zealand is still going very, very well. So had a bit of chat about that, talked about Australia versus and New Zealand Masters, talked about the over 50s inaugural test match, talked a little bit about the 55 state championships. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop this one, and hopefully once I figure it out, you'll now see Glyn's ugly mug and just like a picture of him, like back in the old TV days when you have to sit there and look at somebody getting interviewed and you see a picture of them. That's exactly what we've done because we couldn't figure out how to get the video working, but we chatted for a while. So that'll be it. I don't think I've got anything else to say after this. I'm heading off tomorrow to play, as I said, John Hayne Cup. So a couple of one days to finish in the year up for those sides that didn't make the finals in the Hornsby Kooringa competition will have like mixed grades, mixed players, and you get a start depending on how many players you got from A grade versus D grade, and blah blah. But it'll be a bit of fun. I've got another Masters game tomorrow. This for some reason last week and this week were back to back over 40s. I think we had back to backs over 50s earlier in the year around maybe Mother's Day or something. So they're sort of making that up, and then I think we've only got like sort of one or two rounds of, I think maybe 2 rounds of classics and 2 rounds of Masters to come after this, and season's done. Then we're into the LMS, but I'll always be here, and I'll keep trying to do some more updates across the on the Friday night. There was some stuff going on, and my apologies. This is to talk about what I can talk about. I've seen a bunch of stuff popping up on Facebook around. I think there's some over 70s or over 60s. There's been some Australia games. I think there was like some stuff between Australia and England, possibly in over 70s. I don't know. I can't keep up. Maybe I'll have a look at that for next week. We'll see what's going around. But if anybody's interested or follows or sees this and wants to comment, point me in a direction, that'd be good. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Does everybody consent? Yes, we consent.
All right, everyone consents. We're on call.
But consent is important.
I'm not sure how much I'm going to talk before this particular call and to everyone about the dramas we just had. I don't know whether I'll do it now, but this is our first attempt at a remote chat, and trying to get Glyn on video call was a fucking nightmare because apparently Apple doesn't support it. Fucking WhatsApp doesn't support it. No one fucking supports it. So
no, we feel very unsupported tonight.
We do, and so all of you people that are watching this, and we love you for it. But if you just sit there and look at a picture of Glyn, which, let's be clear, right now I'm still not sure how to superimpose this audio over the top of the photo that I've just taken.
So at some point we're going to get a picture of something turning up on the screen.
And yeah, and those of you that listen to this as a podcast, you live in the dream. You're not going to worry about anything. Those of you that like to look at us and find something remotely weird about looking at us, then you're going to miss out. Sorry about that.
I was going to say there's actually got to be something wrong with people that actually enjoy looking at us.
I was kind of thinking that as I was saying.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird. Right, let me go to my notes because you're not actually up the top of this show. There's a whole bunch of shit I'm going to talk about before I even get to you.
So I'm not the important one. Thank you very much.
Well, you're always the important one, but you've got to have a lead into these things. So there is notes. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right, go back to. It's recording this to notes. That's good to know. At least we'll be able to find this later. Okay, so blah 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 blah. Things I'm going to talk about. Okay, call Glyn. Lord, I'll be impressed because.
Hello,
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. Thank God. Fucking heart attack. I'm sure I'll talk about this earlier before you're actually even on this thing. But one of these things I was going to do was I made a promise last Friday night, which you shouldn't make promises of a night time or ever. That I was going to do like once a week. I might do like a podcast. We'll do a wrap up of some of the Masters and classic shit that's going on and various things around the traps. So that all sort of come beforehand, but obviously having a longer one allows me to invite guests in, such as yourself.
We're talking a longer call here, aren't we?
We are talking a longer call, so we'll see how we go. I'm now currently on my phone, which doesn't fit in my podcasting. Well, it does fit in my little. Actually, if I turn it upside down, is that better? No, don't worry, whatever. Unfortunately, my microphone plug goes in the bottom of the phone, so I can't stick it in my iPad holder. But if I put it sideways, then I can't read my fucking notes. But my point was, Mordo talked about me about being a bit more prepared. So I've got a bunch of notes here to work through different things, and I'm up to the call Glyn piece. Now, one thing I'd like to have a chat about with you, I've got a few things. I want to talk about the T20 World Cup, and we'll talk about the 55 New South Wales State Championships, and we won't talk about 50s because that was last week's. I want to talk about the Australia New Zealand over 50s inaugural Test match, which I thought was really incredibly awesome, to be honest. But let's start with the World Cup. But for the
That
profession,
small moment in time where New Zealand actually gets to gloat about cricket in Australia.
I mean, look, I don't know. I don't find T20 cricket that impressive anyway.
Oh, snap. No, it's my favourite form of the game.
To me, it's like a little bit hitting you. Like I can't watch the IPL. I can watch a little bit of Big Bash, but a lot of the games become very same. And I saw a thing the other day saying this is like with 50 over World Cups and 20 over World Cups and blah blah blah. This is like the third World Cup in 4 years. Was that you going bim bim bim? Or me?
I don't think it is.
Oh, that was weird. Oh, maybe it's just reminding us that we're recording. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, the World Cups are becoming very, very prevalent these days. 100% right that the Kiwis have punched above their weight for a very, very long time, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I'll give you a moment. Like not even just the T20 World Cups, but the One Day World Cup where they were rorted by England or rorted by the system where they should have beaten England. I think it was a One Day World Cup, wasn't it? From
It
memory.
was in England, yep. With
Yeah.
Ben Stokes.
So they've always punched above their weight. But I think one thing as an Australian point of view, so have we. We kind of the world likes to go. Or likes to forget that Australia's actually, like compared to India and England, the volume of people that we have is really, really low. And to be punching above it, like where the things that we've achieved in cricket over the years, and then you compare that to the other sports, like the sports like, I mean, yes, some sports we struggle with, like rugby and stuff like that, but like basketball, the amount of players in the NBA, and where the boomers sit in the world, even Socceroos, I know they struggle at World Cups, but given our population compared to the rest of the world playing these things, I think we can almost put Australia and New Zealand together in the punching above their weight category. But did you want to talk a bit more about New Zealand? Have your moment in the sun for a bit.
No, I think you're actually on the money there, because if I look at, Australia has always punched above its weight in cricket, and I think that's where people do misunderstand a little bit. And thankfully there'll be no New Zealanders listening to this, so I'm not going to get beaten up at the border.
Oh, there will. This is going fucking global, mate. I mean, after our like professionalism of getting us to a video call, this thing's like going viral, for want of a better word.
But yeah, you look at. I mean, I guess I look at. I mean, yeah, we've practiced at Cricket Central, the New South Wales training facility. I've got a business contact who's on the board of Wellington Cricket, which is a province that I came from, and I sent her a quick photo and video of Cricket Central, and I googled the New Zealand Cricket High Performance Centre in Lincoln, which is not far from where I grew up actually, and basically you've got not far off a shearing shed with a couple of nets in it, that backs onto a couple of student flats. And a couple of pretty average grounds on the outside. That is New Zealand's high performance centre. Whereas, you look at Cricket Central, I think it's 16 indoor lanes, 20 something outdoor pitches, which replicate every first class ground in Australia. A ground outside that any province in New Zealand would be, proud to have. The resource that goes into cricket here is absolutely staggering. Again for the population, and that reflects, I think, its importance as a sport in Australia. And Australia will continue to perform well because it's got the resource that allows it to do that. it used to be the standing joke that you could have 20,000 Sheffield Shield runs and still not play for Australia. Whereas in New Zealand, geez, you just needed 2 first-class hundreds and you're in the Black Caps, and then it was hard to get back out again. But now I look at how they're performing. I think Daryl Mitchell is the number one-day batsman in the world. Kane Williamson, top 3 Test match batsman. Sort of him, Coley, Root were the top bats there. And bowling, a good bowling lineup as well. And
Sorry, still there?
Yeah, still here. Sorry,
Just dropped you. Hang on. Oh, dropped the whole phone. Okay, you're back on speaker. I lost your off speaker. I've just dropped the microphone thing in the water. It's all going well.
Sorry, I was just extolling the virtue of the couple of decent New Zealand cricketers. And I just at the moment just have a really good bunch of cricketers, and I think the money in the IPL is probably helping. That there's guys that can actually make a living out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like you sell yourselves a little short. I mean, I take what your point about the training facility. What was making me laugh when I went and played at the 50 state championships the other week. I was playing against some mates from north sort of West Country, New South Wales, from Inverell, and a mate of mine was telling me about his property. It's funny how I don't call myself a city folk because I live up the coast a little bit, but I still have normal suburban sized blocks. So to me, you've only got what's the size of your property? He goes, oh, it's only a small one. It's only 50 acres. But he's telling me how he's got like a shed, which is like an eight garage shed, so like a 16 car thing. And in the first one, he's got four training nets, and one of them's got a bowling machine, and his whole team just comes and just trains at his house. And as you're telling me about the New Zealand facilities, I'm thinking, you guys sound like you're training at Inverell.
It's not far off it.
In my mate's house, who's just done that. Yeah. And hearing stuff like that, I mean, I guess that sort of shows sort of how good New Zealand have been to, and again, for want of a better term, punching above their weight. You're right. We do have professional programs in Australia and that sort of things. The joke about the people scoring 20,000 runs and not playing for Australia, well, that depends on what state you're from. I mean, as a New South Welshman, even I know that there's a fair bias towards New South Wales and the East Coast. So I think that was probably someone like Darren Lehman who scored that many runs before he even played for Australia. He's from South Australia. So it's just, I mean, at the end of the day, you got 12 blokes, including a 12th man. So to get into a side's tough, but yeah, interesting times. So that was from my perspective. I'm as much as I've not followed much of the World Cup since Australia's pulled out. Go the Kiwis. That's all I can tell you.
It'll be interesting. I'm a bit like you. I'm not a big T20 fan. I find that it's a bit of a coin toss for that. I think there's more skill in a 50-over game and definitely more in a test match. And the longer the game, the better team typically comes out on top.
So speaking of test matches, and I hadn't, I might go in 2 paths here. I might just go down a path I hadn't actually planned in my notes. I saw today that. So what we played, Australia played. Who did we play over the summer? Was it England? Yeah, we played England. That's right. England came over here and blah blah blah. That must just be a reminder that we're recording. Did you get that? Did as well?
So did we?
Did you get that noise that just went?
Yeah, I did get a little beepy noise. Yeah, you're sort of cutting in and out a little bit.
I think it must be a reminder that we're recording. So hopefully I'm not cutting out too much. We'll see. I'll replay this before I put it up. If it's really shit, I won't do it. I want to talk a little bit more about the veteran stuff, not the veterans, the master stuff now that we go through. But before I do that, when we played England, the last thing I heard was, "Oh, Australia hasn't got a Test match for 18 months." And I'm thinking, well, what's the freaking point of that? But I've now seen they're talking something like we've got 20 tests or 21 tests now in the next 18 months. They've
What?
kind of flipped it. So we're apparently playing. We're going to Bangladesh, and we're going to Bangladesh. Bangladesh are coming here, and they're going to play 2 tests against us in Darwin and in Mackay.
I was going to say that's going to fill grounds, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's a good idea. We've got all this top end area. I mean, there is a concern around dew because I have seen games played in Mackay and it's fucking wet. Maybe winter's a little bit different, but we'll get a bit more cricket going sort of if they play that. And then they've got not even including the World Test Championships, they've got a whole bunch of test matches over the next sort of 18 months to 2 years. And they're talking about playing like 21 test matches from August and then about 21 or 18 months after that. And I went, well, that's a shit ton of test matches. And as you said a second ago, like you sort of, and I'm the same as you, not a massive T20 fan. I mean, it exists, it's a game, but more interested as a purist, as a test match for things. So you obviously are as well. So,
But 21 test matches, it's almost a little, it's overload. It's a bit of you're going to overdose on test cricket.
well, I don't know. What I do know is that they're probably going to have different squads, different coaches, different squads for T20 and one day cricket. And they're kind of, at the end of the day, they're different styles of players these days.
I think if you look at we'll go back to the New Zealand team, for example. I struggle to recognise the New Zealand T20 team because if I look at the Test team, there's only maybe 2 or 3 players which actually play all 3 formats of the games.
Does New Zealand have enough players to sustain 3 different sides, or maybe 2.5? I mean, your one day sits in the middle, so. But does New Zealand have the players? I mean, we're talking about punching above their weight because you're talking about the number of players available. New Zealand's got to have to struggle, surely.
Oh, they do. I mean, there's 6 first-class sides, and so if you take that, you might have 15 people in a squad. You've only got 90, essentially 90 cricketers to put into a 12-person team. So your odds are actually pretty good. I remember when I was
you
playing.
might get a run, mate.
Well, in my early days, I played a bit like second-class cricket. And so we had 5 teams which led into a first class team. So you were looking there that, okay, take that out, you've got 450 people. So you did have a very slim chance, but it was a chance that if somebody wanted a very average, poor off-spin bowler who barely scored any runs, I had a shot.
Mate, you're not a spinner.
I was back then.
All right, well, you're not now. He's trying to take my spot now. You've gone, geez, I can see how Snappy gets a run. I'll try and bowl like him.
In fairness, I spent more time drinking than I did practice cricket, so maybe that's why it didn't progress any further and maybe got a little worse.
Mate, as somebody who played A-grade basketball in the early 20s and quit basketball because it was easier to quit basketball than it was to quit smoking, you're preaching to the converted. For those of you that are listening out there, yes, I did finally quit smoking about 7 years ago now, so it's been a while. And I did go back and play basketball. So, but yes, sometimes.
But no, you're right.
Sometimes our brains, our own stupidity, being human, sometimes it's easier to do the easy thing option.
But yeah, and I guess we're at that other end. We can lead into Masters, if you like. We're at that other end of the spectrum now, where we don't have, or we do have. You look in the Sydney Masters competition. There's essentially five teams in 40s, 50s, 60s. I think is it 10 or 12 teams per grade?
It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger like crazy.
And competitive. It's the cricket week in, week out, certainly in Div 1, is extremely strong. And you look at the game we played on Sunday against MacArthur. That could have gone either way. We bowled well, we contained them, and so we didn't have to score a lot of runs, but they could have easily got away on us.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, Div 1's an interesting thing for us in the 40s. I mean, a lot of our guys we're missing like a bunch of guys because they're over 55 and we're playing 40s. I know we've got two teams, one in Div 1, Div 2 in the 50s, but in the 40s we only got the one side. Last year with Div 2, I like Div 2 because being almost 55, I actually did better in the 40s than I did in the 50s for some reason. This year it's about even, but even though we've gone up to Div 1 still, I'm not sure how we ended up going to Div 1. But yeah, the fact that you've got a Div 1, a Div 2, this is just in Sydney, let's not forget, because I live up the Central Coast and they've got their own competition. I know Southern Spirit, who Nick plays for, have got an over 40s. That's who Aussie plays for, Jamesy plays for, and JJROP was playing for as well. I don't know that might just be Southern Spirit may not have a 50 side. I'm not sure if there's a 50s comp up here as well. But Southern Spirit certainly only got a 40 side. But in Sydney, just where we are, to have the 40s Div 1 and Div 2, 50s Div 1 and Div 2, and obviously they've got 60s and stuff as well. I don't think we're far away from them starting to branch out and do similar to what we've got with the New South Wales Regional and the National Championships, where they're breaking it by 5 years, having 50s and 55s. And I didn't start playing until I was 43. I got into Masters when I was 49. I was lucky enough to get the over 50s because I was qualifying that year. So what's that? 12 years ago, and 12 years since I started playing. 6 years since I started playing Masters, and then there was only 40s and 50s and 60s, and now within 5 years or less than 5 years, you've got 40s. I don't think there's a 45s, but there's 40s, 50s, 55s, 60s, 65s, 70s. I believe there's a 75s and an 80s. So, like within 5 years, you've gone from every 10 years, they've gone to every 5 years, and that's a lot of blokes playing older cricket. Like it's absolutely. I've spoken about it on this cast before, but it's fantastic just to have those volumes of players. And from Australia, New Zealand, and this might be a good segue into the Australia. Like I know there was an over 55s this week with Australia and New Zealand, or last week, but there's also over 50s. The over 50s is a couple of reasons. The over 50s has interested me a little bit more, mainly because I knew a couple of guys playing for Australia. I didn't know any of the guys in the 55s, but what impressed me, or I thought was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like it was, I think they played a couple of 2020s and a couple of one days. I think the one days might have been afterwards. But in the 50s, they had the inaugural test match. It was a 3-day test match between Australia and New Zealand for over 50s, which I think is fantastic.
It was interesting. I was a bit like you. I knew a few of the guys in the New Zealand team, and it was quite interesting watching the progress. Now, obviously, for Australia, Steve Mace with his 200s, which is absolutely impressive.
I've never met Steve. I've seen him around, like seen his name around. Obviously, I know the people in Sydney, so I'm not sure where he's from. But yeah, 200s in the first Test match for over 50s is incredible. It's just, and there was a guy from the New Zealand guy. Like they really only had one innings because I think there wasn't much in the second innings because it played out to a draw. But I think there was a Kiwi guy that got 100 as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was, and another guy got 70. So a few of the guys that I knew did pretty well actually. So it was interesting watching that just from the sidelines. So it just would have been good to have had another day. A 4-day would have been good. I don't quite know how to do the rules because my old school teacher, my old economics teacher, was actually playing the game, and he played in the second innings. So he bowled, and
right.
I don't think he batted in the second innings, but he took no part in the first innings at all, but came in and bowled in the second innings. I don't know how Nutt Scott managed to wangle that. Maybe he sponsored it. I'm not too sure. But it was interesting, even the dynamics in terms of the team, how they managed that 3 days as well, in terms of keeping 11 people on the field, because we know how hard it is in 1 day to do that, let alone 3 days in a row.
I'd also be interested in understanding how they came to a decision to make it a 3-day match. The reason I guess I'm questioning that is I know 4 days and 5 days is hard. I know state cricket they only play in Australia. I'm not sure about New Zealand, but in state cricket, Sheffield Shield, they play 4 days. But those guys are younger and can score quicker. So I'd be curious to know. I mean, I feel like 3 days might not have been enough to get a result. 4 days might have been better, but 4 days again is hard on the body when you're over 50. But again, I played. I mean, didn't play last year, but the year before I played in nationals. Played for New South Wales, and we played 4 days, 4 games across 5 days. So in your nationals for your state teams, you just do still play. I mean, maybe they could have done that. Maybe they could have made it across 5 days, had a rest day in the middle because the guys are older. I just feel like 3 days is hard to get a result in,
I
especially if
think
you got guys
where
who
they
aren't going to score quickly. I mean, quickly enough, but the pace is not as fast as it is as we get older. I mean, no, they're Div 1. I'm never going to play that level, but maybe I'm underestimating their abilities. But I feel
where
like
they played as well, I think might have had a bit of an impact on it as well, because Darfield, again, close to where I grew up, out in the country there, the pitches can be a little bit of a road. So that could have had an impact if the pitch had a little bit more spice to it. Maybe it would have been a bit more of a competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Canterbury pitches can be batsmen's dreams and bowlers' nightmares. And I suspect that one potentially was a little bit over prepared, not a lot of grass, dead flat, hard and bouncy. The batsman would have definitely loved that pitch. And when with the bowlers being a little bit slower, it definitely would have been in the batsman's favour for that game, I suspect.
Yeah, so I've just managed to look it up, and this is on Play HQ, which is if there's any Kiwis listening, that's the Australian platform. So unfortunately, all the New Zealand guys are asterisked out. But Australia scored 302 in the first innings, batting first, of 93 overs. So you were around three and over, 3.2 and over. So 90, that's as a day done. New Zealand then 324, so passed them off 98, so 3.3 overs and over again. Then Australia scored 262, 4.8. Okay, so they kicked it up a bit off 55 overs. So I'm looking to get it going. Our mate Simon Neach, vice captain, 39 off 34 in the second innings. So obviously Neachy came in to sort of kick it off, and then New Zealand were kind of. It was going to be a tough chase. They ended up four for 70 off 28, chasing two off, but I think they needed like 7 or 8 over to chase. So it was always going to be kind of you have a crack early. If you're not going to get there, you're going to pull out. So I don't know. I just feel like another day. But yeah, again, these are guys that are a higher level than I am. So good luck to them.
Yeah, I mean, we know what some of them will do with some pretty average bowling.
Yeah. What
and
I'd like to see, and look, this is by no means a shot at anybody. Well, first thing I'd like to see is you and me getting to commentate this shit. So who knows what will happen in the future? We may get a gig commentating an over 50s or over 55s test match. We'll put our names out there now and see if
yeah,
someone comes and
happy to
watches
do it
this and
for
goes,
beer.
"Hey, these guys are great. They should commentate." But the disappointing thing for me was I think day one. And look, as somebody who works in technology and works for a software company, I've been around computers my whole life, so I understand the unpredictableness of them. But the first day I was able to watch it streamed. There was no commentary, so I kind of had it on while I was working, and it was quiet, but I was able to see what was sort of happening. So a little bit of commentary would have been nice. But days 2 and 3, I don't think the something must have gone wrong. The cameras wasn't working. I think day 2 got uploaded later. But no one's going to go back and watch 8 hours or 6 hours of cricket
No,
after the fact.
and I think that might have something to do with the location as well. If I look at Darfield, where it was played,
Okay, possibly.
it's maybe a town of a couple of thousand people.
Right.
So whatever they have there in terms of infrastructure, they would have had to bring in. It was probably running through a Wi-Fi network, possibly even hotspotted. Yeah, it is. So Darfield is a small country town.
And look, I mean, as we say, this is all very, very new stuff. So look, hopefully, as time progresses, we will we'll get better coverage and better video coverage. But I'm going to segue again because I'm not sure how long this call's going for, so I don't want to get forever. What I'm going to segue to is the 55s New South Wales State Championships. I spoke last week on my call about the 50s that I went away for in Dubbo. The 55s were in Tamworth last week. Again, it's another one that I was a little bit disappointed. And this is hence my segue. That there was no video coverage, and there was I played. Well, you and I played. We both played on Sunday against MacArthur in just the city competition over 40s, and they had the frog box set up and um, the,
The live
the
scoring.
live scoring, and it was linked to it. And I could come home and I could actually watch the wickets that I took. I could actually watch the whole game, or I could just watch the piece that I want to say. And it was brilliant. I think we played Hawkesbury once before, and they had a similar setup. I don't think Hawkesbury's wasn't live streamed; it came up later, but the MacArthur one was live streamed. So my wife was at home; she could actually watch the game as it was going on, and so and I thought that was brilliant. And technology in this day and age, and this is great for sort of club cricket in a Sydney competition. But I'd really love to see it getting better coverage, especially like state championships and national championships. I know when Nick had a few mates who went and played in the New South Wales Intellectual Disability one. They had some games that were covered, but not all. And I think we've had games in the past that was maybe, I think in the 50s, maybe we had a couple of Div 1 games that were covered. But I just don't feel like it's being covered properly. I'd like the 55s, there was no games, not a single game, whether it was Div 1 or Div 2, had any video coverage. And some of the games, the live scoring didn't even work. You have to wait for it to catch up like hours later. So I think that's, look, I'm not having a dig at anybody because, you know me, I'm trying, my whole thing is positiveness, but I feel like it can be done better, and I'm looking forward to when it is done better.
And I think you're right, because if I look at even the social media coverage around. If I look at Port Jackson, for example, I saw, and Tommy Reaney's changed his profile picture to yet another trophy in the cabinet for him. But I haven't even seen any results come through on the PJ's page. I don't know which teams who did what.
Yeah.
Um,
And I only
so
know, and I only know because I was watching it on the live streaming, and we can talk about that a little bit as well, because this is part of this weekly podcast / thing is to talk about sort of what's happened during the week. But
But yeah, content is king. In terms of engagement today, content is king, and the more we see, we share, we experience things, the more engaged we become, the more interested we become, and the longer we stay involved in something.
I think, and this might be just it's probably speaking personally, but it may be across the board. I think part of the issue with that 50 to 55s into 60s age bracket, a lot of us are still working. We're not
Yeah,
looking to retire till 65. So we don't have time to set it up. And there's a lot of guys that put a lot of time and effort in. And look, and again, to raise JJ was one of these guys that put everything into this stuff. And where we are is like massive testament to what he's done.
yeah,
But a lot of us have got full-time jobs. And I mean, I'm not going to be retiring for another 10 years yet. I don't have time or the ability to get it. I'd love to. Like if someone said to me, hey, would you like to go around and commentate on the over 50s and over 55s, on even the 40s, commentate on some of the games? Would you like to do this and get involved in the X, Y, and Z? And I could be covered financially to the point where what I'm going to earning now, then yeah, great. I would drop it in a heartbeat. I'd be up there doing it. But that doesn't happen. That's not the real world.
no,
You get things like this where you and I just sort of throw something together, and there's this a lot of Spirit of Cricket stuff out there, which they're doing a great job of. But again, there's only so much they can do as well.
yeah. And it's I guess symptomatic of a lot of volunteer organisations today, where we're all time poor.
Yeah,
And it is hard to get people to do things. And JJ, obviously, we want to recognise the passing of an absolute legend in Masters cricket, and the work that he's done, and adding a little bit of organisation and professionalism, from what I understand. I came in later in the day, but people like JJ, we need those people who are passionate about what we do and have some time to go with the passion. And we need to encourage anything that those people can do for us.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, look. Again, you get back to what we spoke about 10 minutes ago about how the fact that we're now like got 5 years apart in a lot of the championships, which we didn't have even 5-7 years ago. So, I mean, there's definitely moving forward, and the same thing, like the fact that I can even watch the odd game live streamed is brilliant. So I'm by no means sort of putting down what we've seen in the coverage. I'm just saying, hey, what's the next step? How do we get involved? What do we do? And look, hopefully someone will listen to this and say, hey, and get you involved, and how do you help out?
Well, I know, Masters Cricket New South Wales were looking for, someone to do social media work for them. I actually thought about putting my hand up for that. It's a matter of, do I have the time? Where do you need to be when you do it? But, things like that. We need people who have that knowledge of social media or understand social media, which at our age group is not always, we don't always have the knowledge in those areas. But
again, the fact that there's more people playing, so they need more groups, means you've got more people that can put into these things. Women as well. There's a whole lot of I've got some friends who I grew up with. I hadn't seen them for 20 years, and they turn up and they're playing over 40s, I think, over 40s women's cricket, and that's huge. So I think what I'm hoping is the different age brackets will start leveraging off each other, and you'll start getting like a critical mass, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
it's
what
exactly
you do for women's 40s and what you do for men's 60s is no different.
Yeah. And you're right. It's once you get that critical mass of players coming through, you've got a good base, and then even from an advertising and a sponsorship point of view, you've got
Exactly.
we are a high value part of the market. We are, in theory, time rich, and hopefully have a little bit of money behind us. So we are actually a marketer's dream. And so, from a sponsorship point of view, we should actually be quite an attractive proposition. And it's a matter of how we can leverage that. Do we have the numbers that justify marketing to? And then how do we reach those people? How do we attract those people? What are the right areas to work with? But I have to say, Masters cricket, I guess for me, in the New South Wales area, which I'm now most familiar with, is still streets ahead of where it is in New Zealand. So there, it's very much still a very amateurish organisation. It's run by a handful of people. It doesn't really have the infrastructure in behind it. So I think what we have here in New South Wales and Port Jackson locally here in Sydney, the organisation that people have put in place is actually, for all the faults that we can find in it, is still a very, very strong organisation and well run.
Yeah,
and please pick next year.
And I mean, that takes us full circle and probably almost closes out our conversation for today. The New Zealand punching above their weight, because yes, New Zealand's probably behind where we are at the moment. We're still developing, but hopefully, and from what I've seen, New Zealand learns and adopts a lot of stuff from Australia, and hopefully we do from New Zealand as well. Just as a side thing, we've spoken about this before. I've had customers in New Zealand who've gone, "Oh, what are they doing in Australia?" And I've gone, "Why are you looking at what Australia's doing? You guys are doing fucking fantastic here yourselves." I think, but hopefully that shared economy or shared development. Again, yes, New Zealand may be a little bit behind, but hopefully they can leverage off what we've done and continue punching above their weight, even in the Masters realm. So, and look, I'm 100% sure they will, and I'm 100% sure you and I will come across each other playing for opposite countries at some point. We might both be 90. You'll represent New Zealand.
It'll be battle of the fittest. Whoever's
You'll
still
represent
managing to roll their arm
You'll
over.
represent New Zealand as your country of birth when you're 92, and I'll represent Australia as my country of birth when I'm 93. And there'll only be 12 blokes left alive
We
who
won't-
can play, but we'll play against each other in an international, I'm sure of it.
It won't be a run up by then. It'll be like a Zimmer frame up or a mobility scooter up, and then we sort of it'll be like temp bowling where you have to shoot that the ball goes down.
It's not that far removed from where I am now, to be honest. All right, I think I'm not sure how long we've been speaking for. Probably been a
It's
while.
been a while.
I've got my phones all sideways. Here we go.
38
minutes. 38 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump off now. It's been a pleasure having you on, and thank you for being my first remote live guest. Unfortunately,
You're wonderful, Snap.
Sam, I couldn't look at your awesome face, but I'll see you tomorrow.
Hopefully we will. Hopefully the rain won't keep us off the grounds.
Oh, look, I think we're gone. I think we had most of it today. I think tomorrow will be perfectly fine.
Yep. No. All good. Thank you very much, Snap, and enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, mate. I'll go and record all the video that's going to pop around this awesome chat.
Excellent. Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
Cheers, brother. See you, mate. Bye.
Bye.
So there you go.